I believe like every day is the perfect day to start learning quantum computing. And that's why we also have the slogan like invest in yourself and start learning quantum computing today.
Welcome to Beyond the Bit Quantum Pathways, the podcast where we explore the exciting world of quantum careers. I'm Amir Rasool, your host, here to bring you inspiring stories from industry pioneers, researchers and innovators who are shaping the future. Whether you're a career changer, a curious mind, or an aspiring quantum professional, this is your gateway to discovering opportunities in this groundbreaking field. In this episode of Beyond the Bit Quantum Pathways, I sat down with Arda Abay, the founder of QUCAN, a global hub bringing quantum education to anyone, anywhere. Arda shared how he first got hooked on quantum at just the age of 13, studying with MIT and Oxford researchers, and how that spark grew into launching QUCAN. We talked about their flagship QC101 program, part classroom, part lab, part industry bootcamp, and how it's already attracting learners from over 30 countries, from curious beginners to senior executives. This conversation was full of energy, fresh ideas, and a real sense of where quantum education is heading. I hope you enjoy it. Hi, Arda. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello, Amir. Thanks for having me.
No, great to see you again, and great to be talking about your new project, which is QUCAN. So we'll kind of get straight into it. What is QUCAN?
Thank you. It's really nice being here. So QUCAN is a global quantum computing center providing educational programs to individuals and cohort-based and interactive programs that's covered fully online and open to anyone in the world. And we're also providing article services, enterprise services. It's basically an end-to-end service covering the educational side of quantum computing.
Fantastic. I suppose a little bit about your personal journey. What drew you into quantum computing itself?
I'm sure. So I always had the curiosity of learning new things and expanding my knowledge as much as I can. So regarding that, like while I was, for instance, president of my school, I was looking into the techniques of how to get the most out of it and how to be more beneficial. And the same went for technology too. I wanted to like keep up with the new trends, learn new things, and develop myself in that area as I have the interest in computer science. So while I was 13, I also applied into the quantum computing program organized by the researchers of MIT and the University of Oxford. And like once I get into this program, I studied quantum computing intensely for nine months while I was 13. I thought that, okay, so this is the field that I want to go on. And one door opened another, and now we launched QUCAN.
Fantastic. 13, huh? It's quite some
Yes,
heavy
that's right.
concepts to grasp at 13 years of age.
It wasn't easy in the like first place, especially about the mathematics. Like I had to switch between both the regular curriculum that I was doing and also for the quantum computing and also my side sports and projects.
Fantastic. And here we are. So what gap in education or training did you see that made you want to launch QUCAN?
Yeah, so regarding that, when someone hears the name quantum computing, it came especially interesting, and they unintentionally are having the urge to learn more about it, find its techniques, and so on, deciding on their decisions. So regarding that, we found out that especially companies and organizations have these educational tools, especially focusing on their applications, on their services. Yet they're very helpful, but they can be a little overly technical. So this is especially making it hard for individuals with no scientific or mathematical background to get into quantum computing or apply it into their own business or their own professions. And on the other hand, there is also another gap, especially for people who want to pursue research or pursue their own business. So at QUCAN, we especially wanted to be like the center of quantum computing, starting from the very beginning of quantum computing with our QC101 program, which is basically like starting from the very ground up level with the background mathematics, physics idea of quantum computing, and covering every aspects in the road with important milestones with what is quantum computing, its history, its core concepts, algorithms, applications, and so on. So starting from that part, we want to have these cohort-based programs, starting from the beginning to the more advanced levels, covering every single concepts, and also diversifying it with different kinds of services too.
Fantastic. And why the name QUCAN? What does that represent?
Yes, so while deciding on that, we wanted to keep it aligned with our vision, mission, and what we want to do. So we want to be compact, direct, yet still covering every single background, from just people wanting to step into this quantum computing revolution, and top roles executives wanting to actually turn this into an advantage for their own. So we also thought of the problem. So what could be like a certain obstacle from people getting into this part? And we thought that seeing quantum computing as a hard niche topic.
Mhm.
So we wanted to like compactly just emphasize it. Quantum you can turn
100%.
into
Rather than you
QCAN.
can't, you
Yeah.
can.
Yep.
Brilliant.
That's right.
So how did you go from launching from an idea to launching the Global Online Academy?
So this came out as like a journey, especially for me. Like in the first place, once I learned these concepts of quantum computing and started to actually like do my own research, and when I attended to national fairs, got a certain award, I thought that, okay, so besides from this part, there is also a certain area where there could be people or organizations, enterprise, wanting to learn this technology, use its techniques from the right authorities, right services, and come up to something useful, something that's actually worth pursuing for. And for that, I started to record my own videos explaining quantum computing, which is now like the building block of QC 101 in the first place. Now that we come a long journey on that, started to upload it into internet, thinking that, okay, so let's see what people are going to think of this. Is it going to be any helpful? And it got so many great reactions, like out of my imagination, thinking that, okay, so actually like explaining these concepts to people with curiosity is making a great difference. And I instantly thought of the opportunities if we turn this into something structured, something with interactive lectures, laboratories, and actually industry usage with actual industry partners. And once we got that reaction, we switched this into something more structured within a QCAN, and we run 2 pilot cohorts to make sure that like everything is working smoothly. And we wanted to ensure that students are satisfied with the result. They are having great connections, networking, and they actually stepped into quantum computing with QCAN. And once we also successfully did that with more than 98% of student satisfaction, so we decided that, okay, so this is going to be something structured, and with actual industry partnerships, quality educational materials, we're going to turn QCAN into a global quantum computing center.
Fantastic. I mean, I've had a sneak peek at the site and I think it's fantastic.
Thank
So
you,
that's
Amir.
good. That's one of the reasons I wanted you on here, because it's all about representation of quantum in the wider world. A lot of people don't understand what it is, but are curious. So I think things like this are fantastic. Which leads me on to the next question. What were the biggest challenges in sort of creating an accessible quantum learning platform?
That's right. So regarding that, the first thing that I found was some people were having more difficulties keeping up with interactive sessions. They just prefer to learn by their own pace, watching videos, maybe solving some quizzes. And some people just don't get forced into advancing their knowledge more with actual industry usage, technical details, reading out that documentations. So we wanted to make sure that QC 101 is inclusive.
Yeah.
So therefore, we decided to separate it into 3 plans: QC 101, QC 101 Plus, and QC 101 with industry. So with the base plan, you are attending to interactive sessions, and you're also having access to self-paced videos, quizzes, all the documents, and the networking part of QC 101, which we do have some great like examples, some stories that turn out to be as milestones of our learners. And with the Plus plan, you're also getting access to Q-Control's award-winning Black Opal, the full license. And you also do have the opportunity to earn certificates and badges with both the plans. And if you actually want to go deeper, if you want to get industry insights, if you want to also gain access to some quantum computing service that you can build high-level quantum algorithms with Classiq platform with the full license, you can also choose Classiq platform. So therefore, we actually wanted to divide it into 3 plans in order to come through that challenge.
Cover the market. I suppose is that what you classify as being your differentiator compared to other quantum education initiatives out there?
That's right. And also like having a program covering like starting from the beginning and covering everything from end to end with live lectures,
Hmm.
laboratories, industry walkthroughs, but also the expert sessions, industry sessions, and all the self-paced documentation
Yeah.
combined with the networking. We believe that this is like the most combined and most end-to-end quantum introduction to quantum computing and quantum industry program yet.
So that's kind of a breakdown of your flagship program then, which is QC 101.
That's right.
Fantastic. How do you balance teaching sort of quantum theory with hands-on skills like Python or algorithmic design?
So in that end, we didn't want it to actually have something linear starting from the industry. Now we're starting from the theory. Now we're switching to actual hands-on part and you can apply this. But rather we're using the sprint method where we're starting with the history. We're starting with concepts everyone is very curious about, like what is quantum computing
Hmm.
and how it is differentiating from the classical computing and how it's going to have effects in our life and the midterm and long term.
Hmm.
And afterwards, once our learners are feeling more comfortable about the core concepts of quantum computing, we're also supporting that with live laboratories where we're covering the mathematical background, Python, and the computer science, the programming part. And if our learner also choose the QC 101 with industry plan, we're building on top of that, we're building the quantum industry part
Hmm.
where they're having the full access to Classiq platform. And we're also supporting their usage with live walkthroughs, live lab walkthroughs about the industry applications of the Classiq platform.
Fantastic. And I know you integrate tools like Classic and Q-Central's Black Opal. How do
Yes,
these
that's right.
enhance the learning journey?
So in the first place, as positioning QCAN's QC 101 as the most advanced introduction to quantum computing program yet, we also want to keep it as integrated with industry as possible. And
Mhm.
this is going to be applying for all of our programs and services. We want to be inside the industry because in the end, if you're learning and stepping into quantum computing, you're also going to be either working for or using the resources, using the sources of the industry. Once partnering with Q-Control and Classiq, industry leaders, we are ensuring that while our students, our learners are learning the core concepts of quantum computing, they are also using the tools, the most advanced tools of the industry and certified with their badges and also their logos. And this is also important to get to know the industry because during our plans, there are also going to be live sessions where our learners get the chance to directly talk to the representatives of these large and leading companies.
Fantastic. And I know you've also introduced AI-powered learning assistants. So I suppose two parts. How does this support learners and how do you see it shaping education?
So I do believe that, as in many places in the world in tech right now, AI is going to play a lot of role in the education. And therefore, we want to make sure that we also integrate it with QCAN systems. So our program, QC 101, we do have it with a custom GPT, which is knowing everything about Q program, plans, curriculum, and all the materials.
Mhm.
So in Canvas, our main learning platform, we have the community discussions where anyone can open a thread about their question, their query, or something about quantum computing or recent new. And the whole community is evolving. With our two pilot programs, we saw that this is something really amazing. The
Mhm.
community is very supportive. And even like myself in my free times, just went through the discussions as much as I can, reading it in a very interesting way. So besides from that, if they just require some instant answer, some maybe basic query about something they're curious about the curriculum, or basically a question about the plan of the program, they can just ask it to the AI assistant. With this, we are also determined to advance our AI and actually integrate it into the main program platform, Canvas, with our future cohorts, invest into the AI part because we believe that it's also very supportive to the learning and some learners maybe just prefer going through the AI, just like they may prefer giving the weight into interactive learning or the self-paced learning.
Fantastic. And I know you've already trained learners from over 30 countries so far. What kind of students are joining? Professionals, students, career changers?
This is also something like very interesting we observed during the two pilot cohorts. Normally, like because QC 101 is basically an introduction to quantum computing and also the industry use cases program, we were initially expecting students and just curious people around the world wanting to get into quantum computing. But when we look into their percentage, we see that actually that population is around 30%. We do have a high amount of professionals, quantum PhDs, quantum masters, and also executives, top roles, individuals. So like this also enriched our program nature very much because we have learners from all the backgrounds, all the nations and countries just came together for one goal: learning quantum computing, connecting with the community, which now we call as a Q network, and also benefit from these industry tools, which is amazing.
Fantastic. I'm quite interested about the fact that executives are coming on board now to kind of learn quantum. So it means the message is getting out there a little bit more, would you say?
Definitely. I'm
Yeah.
on the same page. Like the quantum revolution is going to be coming, and not to just increase the hype. This is something like the large consultancy companies and analytics are also foreseeing.
Yeah.
And at least, even if you're not directly involved in this, having the background knowledge, having the core concepts, getting yourself familiarized with the core concepts is something crucial. And I believe something like everyone interested in technology right now should be doing.
Yeah, fantastic. I agree with you. Obviously, you've only done a couple of pilots so far. Have you got any success stories or transformations you've seen in students? I know it's early
We
days.
do. Yeah, we do. Like looking into LinkedIn, the social media platforms, seeing our learners mentioning QCAN about what they accomplished within a week, a month, and a year of completion of the program is like making me very, very delighted. And once I like see that in the morning, that's also boosting my motivation very much to just work much more on quantum computing. To just like give an example, we had a learner doing her master's, but had like zero knowledge about quantum computing, just learned what is quantum computing, the history, the superposition for the first time with our program. And she's now working with a team in a lab and also published her research paper doing very amazing things active in the community, which is something we're very proud of. And hopefully this is going to increase much more rapidly with the new concept of QC 101 actually in partnership with quantum community
Yeah.
and also the new programs that we're going to introduce.
Fantastic. That's really exciting. Having been in recruitment for a long time, you're going to start to feel a lot more pride as this continues. I remember placing people at the start of their career and placing them multiple times in different jobs. And you see them progressing and evolving and the skill set's moving and they're like, okay, now I want to do this and I'm looking to go to that. And you kind of go, you know what? I was a part of that and that's quite fulfilling. So, that's fantastic.
That's right.
How do you ensure accessibility for learners worldwide, especially in regions where quantum resources aren't limited, I suppose?
So we also very much care about inclusivity and accessibility. We see this in two parts. One is about the curriculum and the learning part. So for that, we start off with the beginning, QC 101, actually in partnership with the industry, updating regularly. And also we're committed to build programs on top of each other, going into the most advanced places in quantum computing yet, and supporting this with Q Notebook, where we're going to share quantum articles worth reading, combining the technical details with the popular science explanations, and also Q Network. And the other part is obviously about the economical part. And for that, we introduce QC 101 with 3 plans: QC 101 Plus and Industry, starting from 149, 299, and 499. And we also give 1 year of access guarantee for all these program materials, excluding the third party. And with this, like this is also going to be the first time that I'm going to announce it in public, and we're also going to introduce it with next week with the QCAN's social media channels. We are also going to introduce another QC 101 plan with the self-paced materials, documentations, and also a certificate with for $24. And it's also going to give a 1 year of access guarantee. So we want to make sure that we're as inclusive as possible, like an end-to-end quantum computing center.
Fantastic. I know that's something that we talked about when we spoke last time. It's like accessibility for, funds vary across the world. People's economics vary. So it's like, well, how can we target everybody? So I think that's fantastic.
That's right. Thank you.
Obviously, there's a lot of thought and there's a lot that you've done behind the scenes to get to this point. Actually, before we get on to that, how do people, we haven't given the addresses for the socials. How can people find QCAN?
First, we're currently active in LinkedIn and X, formerly Twitter. We're regularly posting our updates, our partners' updates. They're also like very active in the industry, and we're also linking the recent articles of Q Notebook. So it's also like very great quantum computing articles worth the reading,
Mhm.
combining techniques with the popular science. So you can find us at QCAN and the LinkedIn, and QCAN X at QCAN X on the X platform. And we're also actively using the website, QCAN.org. So you can also like see our Q Notebook sharements and also the access to Q Network.
Fantastic. I'll make sure I post links to all three of those. Well, when I publish this episode. Why do you think quantum education is urgent right now?
So I do believe that once a certain technology is like rapidly evolving, when all eyes are on that technology, just like the AI right now, although like it's still great to learn new things, as always for any sort of concepts, it's being kind of late to actually get into that place and start innovating. I believe that this is actually something needs to be done before that, once you like embrace all the concepts, the core concepts, and look into the research papers starting from the advancements. So I'm feeling myself quite lucky to actually start learning quantum computing when I was 13, and like start to witness all the developments one by one, reading the research papers and just like embracing all the developments myself. I would be like more sorry if I started maybe 30 years later, just like getting into the zone where quantum computing is already superly developed and also like all the eyes are on quantum computing. So I believe like every day is the perfect time to start learning quantum computing. And that's why we also have the slogan like invest in yourself and start learning quantum computing today.
Fantastic. Do you think traditional universities are moving fast enough? Or will platforms like
Um,
QCAN fill that gap?
like I wouldn't say in a certain time frame, QCAN or traditional universities curriculum are going to like have the general learning part, but this actually should be something like supported by each other, and combinedly we are going to serve into the community of all the quantum enthusiasts and also the tech enthusiasts where they want to start learning quantum computing. However, I do believe that there is a huge role uh, in the learning part for organizations like QCAN. And so far, like there is actually a huge gap between the theoretical education of quantum computing combined with the hands-on industry and also with the networking part. So we believe that I believe that we're doing something great here, and when we combine this with the traditional curriculums, the like combined growth would be really great.
Yeah. Um, so I suppose what's next for QCAN? Any new programs or partnerships that you can share?
So for QC 101, we are partnered with Q-CTRL and Classiq, and we are also going to announce shortly another partnership with also a leading quantum computing company, integrating their quantum service into our curriculum. This is going to be for our second cohort of QC 101, going to be organized this year. And I'm also like delighted to share that we are also going to introduce series of individual cohort-based programs during the year and during 2026. 2026. And we're also going to start the enterprise services, where we're also going to provide these educationals tailored to specific needs of enterprise and large organizations.
Fantastic. I was hoping you'd give me the scoop there, but you're going to hold fire on that partnership. That's okay.
Thank you.
Obviously, you've thought about this. What role do you want, or do you see QCAN playing in the global quantum workforce?
This
You
is
can
something
be bashful. Just throw it out there.
this is something especially imagining and visioning very much. And for that, I envision QCAN in a place where we're the center of quantum computing revolution, with the education learning programs for everyone with different kinds of program, whether it would be QML, quantum optimization, quantum finance, and QC 101, our flagship program, our first program, and also with the enterprise services, and also with the educational services to K-12 for early learners of quantum computing, which is simply something I believe that needs to be done and something would be amazing. But also we want to support that with the quantum computing services like our Q notebook, where we're sharing these quantum articles. And we also want to partner directly with the quantum industry in the future. And we're also working on that and turn it into a affordable and accessible subscription model, basically for anyone just wanting to get there, read quality quantum articles from one place that's going to be sufficient, and like actually be inside the community, and also with the Q notebook too. So in that term, we want to see QCAN as the end-to-end covering everything about quantum computing. If anyone wants to learn more, do more, and get in there, get into the industry, QCAN is going to be the only like sufficient source.
Fantastic. I like it. What have you personally learned through building QCAN?
I learned quite much, like starting with an idea, a work, and turning it into something structured, something beneficial for the customers was something transformative for me. It was an unremarkable experience, and I'm super glad that I actually gone through it, and I cannot wait to see more regarding that. But one thing that like immediately, and I like without even unintentionally learned, was actually like completing every step one by one, opening the doors each, making sure that it's working perfect, people are satisfied with the work, it's working smoothly, and then switch into another. And while doing that, I also like make sure that for the initial run, the initial announcement, I didn't really wait it to be perfect, but like hearing out from the feedbacks, hearing out with the process, I like worked hard to make it perfect. And once it hit it into a great spot, I then switched into another.
Yeah. Fantastic. So I was about to ask you, so if you could go back, give yourself advice starting, what would it be? But you kind of answered these questions already.
So for that, yeah, I would say in the first place, if you have a visionary idea, if you want to change something, if you want to do something that haven't been done before, if you sense a certain gap, I would say definitely go for it. Start working for it, work hard. And for the initial part, just don't wait for it to be perfect. But once you actually start working on it, start sharing with people, also make sure that you just give your best. You give your best to turn it into perfect. And once you satisfy with the results, then move forward with your other step.
It's very kind of Silicon Valley viewpoint, build it, break it, rebuild it, break it, rebuild it, but move at speed.
Yeah,
because there's, time waits for no man, as they say. But yeah, fantastic. Arda, I think that's kind of covered everything. Just to reiterate, can you give us the addresses where people can find you, where they can find QCAN, etc.? Also dates for the cohorts while we're here.
So you can see all our programs, information about QCAN and our services on www.qcan.org. You can also enroll the programs with that links. And we are going to organize the upcoming cohort of QC 101 starting on September 27th. And it's going to be an 8-month-long program. And we're going to start the next cohort of QC 101 in late October. They're in partnership with Q-CTRL and Classiq. And also to hear the recent social media announcements, you can also look into our LinkedIn page, QCAN, and our X, formerly Twitter page, QCANX.
Fantastic. Arda, look, thank you for joining me today and sharing the story of QCAN. It's clear that you're looking to democratize quantum education, and I think that's fantastic. And as you've just said, you can find more at qcan.org, and you can follow Arda's work on LinkedIn, which I will post. And always, to my guests, thank you for tuning into BeyondTheBit Quantum Pathways. If you enjoyed this conversation, please subscribe. Arda, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much. And obviously, I'll be following your progress and will help as much as I can.
Thank you so much, Amir. Just likewise. Thank you for having me. And I'm also following all of your podcasts and really amazed by what you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Speak again soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Amir. Goodbye.
And that's a wrap on today's quantum adventure. We hope you enjoyed the show. Please subscribe, share it with a fellow quantum enthusiast, and leave us a review. It helps us reach much more curious minds. If you have any questions or feedback, please reach out at beyondthebit.quantum@gmail.com. Stay tuned for more exciting explorations into the world of quantum careers. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Until then, keep exploring the quantum possibilities.